It's time for a non-scientific comparison. Here's some gratuitous knob flicking. Running a controller test ROM, we can see that in terms of range, the original controller is short of the optimal 83 target. The replacement stick module goes a bit beyond the ideal target, and the AliExpress pad goes way too far. If it wasn't for that horrible hexagonal threshold stopping you from comfortably pushing left or right, it would go 127 each way. This range is horrific. The sensitivity is erratic as well, so it's like playing a character with ADHD who's done some fat lines. One thing I noticed about the AliExpress stick module and the AliExpress controller is that there's like a magnetic snap. Either hardware or software, I can't tell. You can't feel it physically, but the positions want to snap to vertical or horizontal, like they really just want to be a D-pad. I've tried to draw a spiral on all of them, and only the original can do this. If you were using the sniper rifle in Goldeneye, imagine only being able to aim going up, down, left or right, or trying to angle Mario to run in the right direction. Well, I know, and it was horrible. Apologies for horrific quality of my temporary old LCD screen, it won't be here for long. The original controller works as expected. The green one with replacement stick barely wants to even consider any diagonal directions. Same with the knockoff controller. Not only is it like 180% too sensitive, it's basically as much use as a D-pad. Now, I'm not the best Goldeneye player, but I get on alright with the original controller. It works as expected. Now here's the replacement controller from AliExpress. The slightest turn and you're like 90 degrees to the side. I don't even think the first time I played this game I died at this point. Although the original controller range is limited, it's 100% more useful than a cheap replacement stick or controller. I say 100% because the other two are literally 0% useful. And I don't know why they snap to the horizontal and vertical axes. So it's not just about the range, it's about doing what you tell it to. And only the original does that. So here's the results! A piece of shit in third, hybrid shit in second, original with just replacement components in first place. Woo! But wait, what if someone was to make a decent replacement that wasn't some cheap tap from Amaz Express? I would totally hold up the whole video production and wait 7 weeks for it to come. It's 7 weeks later and my 8BitDo replacement stick arrived. It's GameCube style, but that can only be a good thing. Remember when I said the optimal range was 83? Well, this is straight up 84 on all axes, no weird axis snapping, and it feels so smooth. So this is now joint first place. It would have been solely first place, but it's not as close to a genuine stick as the one with just replacement worn parts. Functionally, it's perfect.
Rumble pack.
Here's a rumble pack. You stick it in the N64 with 2 AA batteries and it rumbles. This one doesn't work and we're going to see why. The connector pins are giving us a little spoiler alert. Maybe the inside is okay though. Let's just see if there's any sign of battery leakage in the battery I've just brushed on some white vinegar and the fact that it's fizzing away indicates that there was a nasty battery leakage as the vinegar neutralises the alkali. Time to remove the screws and take a look in. Jesus. The corrosion is so bad that nearly the entire solder mask layer is lifted from the traces, and also the traces have lifted from the PCB. Even as I clean the contacts for fun, this thing is falling apart like a zombie in an earthquake. Out of mild curiosity, I'm cleaning it up to see if I can see the full extent of the damage, but for £12 I've ordered replacement PCB. Comes with everything except for the IC chip, so assuming that the chip is still working, I just transfer it over to the new PCB and we're good to go. Here's some more story. When the N64 was released in Japan, only 3 games were available. Mario 64, Pilot Wings, and utilising the full hardware capabilities, Japanese chess thing. Don't worry, when it was finally released in the UK, there was plenty of time for developers to develop. 6 games. Mario 64, Pilot Wings, Cruising USA, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, FIFA 64, and Turok Dinosaur Hunter. While I'm doing this, let me tell you some other things about the N64. The expansion pack, which is installed on the port at the front, doubles the system RAM from 4 to 8 megabytes. Hardly any games require this, and a few like Resident Evil 2 and Turok 2 benefit from better textures, but there were games that straight up required it. Perfect Dark, for example, would only let you play the multiplayer campaign without the expansion pack, and The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask required it due to being designed with the additional resources in mind. Donkey Kong 64 allegedly had a memory leak bug that they couldn't track down, but they found that the expansion pack negated the issue, so they sold the game with the expansion pack included. Sadly, the legs of the connector for the vibrating motor disintegrated and I don't have any spares, so I'm just going to solder the motor directly to the PCB. I've just removed the IC from the damaged board and transplanted it onto the new PCB so we can test it. Power on and... ooh, vibraty. And it won't stop. It just keeps going. I've made a 3-hole vibrator. I wondered if there was an issue with the PCB, as for some reason I was sure that the IC would have been fine. It couldn't be the IC that looks like it spent most of its life in the fucking sea, no. So to work this out, I ordered another rumble pack, which was cheaper than the replacement PCB. As we wait for that, let's see why Goldeneye was reported as not working. That's all this game is. This is still magical to me. The large chip is the game ROM, the medium chip is the copy protection chip, and the small chip is the save game data. Might as well give it a clean and forever entomb that arm pube while I wait for the replacement rumble pack. Which has just arrived, nice and clean. Batteries in. Oh look, it's a Japanese version, konnichiwa. Okay, I lost this footage, but I can confirm that it works perfectly. I'm going to do a test after doing a little cleaning. I'll take the working chip from the working rumble pack, put it into the replacement PCB to see if the constant vibration is a faulty PCB or faulty chip. I'll put the suspect chip onto the known working PCB to confirm this. Despite Nintendo driving a race for the bottom of parents' pockets in terms of the price of the console, keeping itself the cheapest against its competitors, the N64 couldn't beat the monster of the PlayStation, which sold over 3 times as many consoles in its longer lifespan than the N64 and had more than 5 times as many games developed for it. Although that said, Nintendo made plenty of money with the N64, not just through console sales, but their big chunk of revenue from the games and cartridges, and on top of that, they gained consumer trust by only releasing games that they deemed of sufficient quality. Quality over quantity. Which is probably why people look back so fondly on certain titles, whereas with the PlayStation, everyone had their own favourite game that their mates had probably never heard of, excluding Metal Gear Solid. By the year 2000, the N64 was nearing the end of its short life, with the Sega Dreamcast trying hard and the PS2 nailing the coffin shut on both Sega and Nintendo. Wankers! But it had one last stand, with the releases of Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark and Paper Mario helping it to bow out gracefully. Time to test the rumble packs. First of all, the replacement PCB with the known working chip. And yes, it works! It's only vibrating when it's supposed to and not 100% of the time. Great! So now let's take the known working PCB with the suspect IC and see if it vibrates constantly. And yeah, it does. So I need to get rid of that dodgy IC, swap the working chip back over, and I'll keep an eye out for another destroyed rumble pack in future. And hopefully the IC will still be okay to reuse.
From good vibrations to good memories.
Here's the memory pack. Cute little thing. Let's see why it's not working. Known as the controller pack, not all games actually needed it, as about a fifth of games, including GoldenEye, saved the data onto EEPROM chips on the cartridge itself, so no need to worry about a battery losing the data when it dies. On the reverse is the coin cell battery, which as long as it's charged keeps the memory in the SRAM from falling out. Apparently if the battery dies or is removed, the memory card data is lost. But also, against all odds, these batteries have been known to retain their charge for absolutely ages. I believe this is the original battery. They used Maxell CR2032 batteries, and wow, this still has 3 volts. If it was much under this, then it would definitely need replacing. Just using some contact cleaner on the contacts in case this is why it wasn't working, although it could have been working fine and the seller could have been genuine when they said untested, which to be fair is a rarity. Cleaning up the rest. I tested it and forgot to film it. Pretty boring, but trust me, it works.
Chassis time.
Finally, we're onto the chassis. There's been some rattling around, so let's take a look inside and see what that is. Don't don't forget to remove the jumper pack like I forgot. Ugh, plenty of snap plastic in here. Here's a bit. Here's a bit. Probably goes there. The screws have been over tightened until the pillars are snapped off. There's one loose. I'll unscrew the others while holding the pillars still, otherwise they'll just go round and round.
They go round again. They just go round and round. Round and round.
There's a million screws holding the heatsink and RF shield into the chassis, so here's a montage of the removal. I'm just giving this a clean while I have it out, and because I'm me, I'll polish the steel as well, which makes it look newer, but not as good as new, but newer. Removing the heatsink to take a look at the thermal pads, which actually look alright, so I'm going to leave them in there. Some contact cleaner into the power switch to remove any build-up of plastic dust and debris, and give it a good wiggle around to get the contact cleaner all the way in and around. Now doing the same for the cartridge slot, using the surplus to clean around it. Cleaning the rest of the steel parts inside, not necessary, but I like to give everything a thorough clean. Putting it all back together, I used 2 pois d'epoxy on as many as the loose pillars and other parts to put them back to where they should be, but there were missing bits and the plastic is so brittle that it was just buying time before they fail again. So I got a replacement shell! Retro is cool! It comes with all the bits you need, including replacement logo sticker thing, which isn't actually listed on the description, but it's great as I was worried I'd have to transfer the original one over from the old shell. There are no instructions, which makes this a fun little puzzle game to put back together. One of the repair pillars has already failed, as I suspected it would. I didn't even over tighten it much. Some parts you still need to take from the original shell, such as the springs that hold the cartridge port covers in place. And here we have it, a new home for the N64, which almost looks more 90s than the original shell. Oh, that's because they sold transparent cases in the 90s and I didn't know. Let's make sure it still works after all that. And yes it does, and I think it looks fantastic. But then I would, as I have the bias of having spent time and money on it. Well, for today, I'm going to turn it off. Please don't power the console off. Please don't even save the game. There are millions of save game cartridges all over the world with one final save they will never ever come back to. They didn't know it yet, but it was the last time they had that moment, saved on a little plastic box. I've never even owned an N64, but just having one and turning it on is like opening the tiny grey book in the bookshelf of my happy memories, and then I'm back there at Paul's house in 1997, half-eaten pizzas in boxes on the dining room table behind me. Me and Stuart have come round to play hours of Goldeneye on a big warm CRT TV. Paul's got the decent controller and me and Stu have to fight over who gets the worn out one or the third party one with the rubbish buttons. We are crying with laughter from an unexpected headshot and Paul's fuming, blaming the controller, and then starts changing the rules in the settings to favour him while Stuart's gone to the toilet. We're discussing the lyrics of Radiohead's OK Computer, which has been playing on our Discmans all summer. Mobile phones aren't really a thing yet, and so we arranged tonight by using the landline at a social time the evening before. I can still remember all my friends' phone numbers, burnt into my mind as clear as I can still hear the last 4 digits being said by Paul's mum, 3561. So when young people ask me why I play these old games that aren't even that good, it's because here is the place they'll never know of, a safe game in my mind that gets unlocked when I play these games, and I know it's like chasing the dragon, but there's so much here for me to reminisce that it doesn't matter about the damn dragon. I'm happy with this. The world hasn't yet gone to shit. Nobody outside of science fiction has ever even dreamt of the concept that someone could be bullied over a thing called social media yet. Oh, and on a metal and glass rectangle that's connected to a new thing called the internet. All my friends were either a couple of 40p bus rides away, or Dave and Paul, who were just a stone's throw. It didn't matter that one of these journeys would be the last one we'd be taking, because we didn't know. And my dad was still alive. Always happy to drive us around in the evening to relieve my mum of her taxi duty so we wouldn't have to walk anywhere or wait for buses. It was that wonderful time, a year before the diagnosis. And we didn't have to work or even think about paying a single bill, still on the safe side of the road from the impending drink and drug issues and inevitably becoming mentally ill. And when I check the time to see if it's too late to still be playing, just then I hear Paul's mum telling me that my dad's just called and will be here to pick me up in 10. I save the game just like I'm safely putting away this capsule of time, As I turn off the console, I can hear Paul's doorbell chime, followed by the warmest, most comfortable combination of words to anyone who's lost their dad has ever known. Paul's dad courteously announcing, "Scott, your dad's here to take you home." So the next time someone asks me why I play a game from 1997, I'll protect my little memory of heaven and just tell them to fuck off. I'd like to thank my Patreons who have supported me for over a year now. I've stopped accepting new paid Patreons because at the moment I'm not able to fulfill monthly videos, and so I have to keep pausing billing as I don't like taking with nothing in return. But these members are fundamental to my work on my videos, as are all my subscribers, but their early support will be remembered forever. Feel free to join on the free tier, by the way, for the occasional behind the scenes stuff. If you do want to throw a coin into my hat, then I've got a Ko-Fi coffee account, so should you feel the need to tip me to say thanks for not filling my video with sponsors, you can, in the knowledge that it will fuel my momentum in getting more videos out quicker. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like, share the video if you know other people weird enough to enjoy it, and I look forward to you seeing me in the next video, which is going to be about how I made this video.